Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to look at the pharmaceutical giants' financial earnings and its stocks performance in recent weeks to see if there are emerging opportunities for us to trade and invest. So first, we will consider its last quarter's earnings report, which was released way back in November. So it has been out in public domain for last 2 months. And in this report, the past earnings as well as future guidance was provided. And till we have the next earnings report is the guiding light for us to the fundamental developments which have taken place in the AstraZeneca's business world. The earnings for the AstraZeneca are stagnating. In COVID days, it was the pioneer, and its vaccine was used widely around the world. So that was powering its earnings for last couple of years. But now we are in post-COVID era, and the revenues are not no longer much reliance on the COVID vaccines, and the total revenues are now even officially called ex-COVID-19 medicines. And in it, there is some stagnation. The growth rate is tapering, and in this slide, we have to look at how the company is faring and where it stands and what we can do moving forward. So, for fine print, you can always refer to the whole document, but I will be taking you through some of the key highlights which can be used as key guiding factor for us to make sense of what is happening and what to expect in the current quarter, for which the earnings are going to be released in next month. So we will be looking at the consolidated statement of income, and in it we are going to see how the revenue has materialized over last couple of quarters. And if we consider these 9 months earnings report, you can see that there has been stagnation in the revenue. The rise in revenue is not much significant. Only around 2 percentage point rise is there in total revenues for the 9 months ending 2023, September 30th. And if we look at the quarterly earnings, the revenues have actually de- not declined. The revenues have grown. The total revenues are higher, but not much significantly. These are in single digits, and around 5 percentage growth is being seen. But if you look at the total profit for the period, it is lower, and that is a significant development which we have to consider while making projections for the future. Because in the pharmaceutical world, the developments take time to percolate to the net income, and in this kind of scenario, the quarter on quarter profit doesn't really swing much, unlike the Berkshire Hathaway's profit statement, which we were considering yesterday, which can swing from enormous profit in one quarter to enormous loss in second quarter. That is not really how the pharmaceutical world works. Here, the revenues rise as well as decline steadily, and the growth, or for that matter decline, is always or you can say more often than not, it is slow. So if there has been slow decline in the revenues for last quarter, I am not really expecting any significant turnaround to happen in immediate future, and we will have to trade cautiously for next couple of quarters as well, as the growth has been muted. And even though the almost 1.5 billion profit is quite good, but it is lower than the profit it earned for the quarter ending September 30th, 2022. So year on year terms is decline. And if we look at the cash flow statement, let us see how the company is managing its cash. The net cash has also declined, and cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of period were higher, and these have now declined by the end of the period. These are numbers for the 9 months, and this decline is happening mainly because of the net cash outflow for the financing and investing activities, whereas the operating activities have provided cash for the company. So this is the fundamental side of the story. Now we jump to see how the developments are unfolding in the technical side. This is the weekly chart. So if you are a really long-term investor or trader, then you of course have to consider these weekly charts, which can be utilized as the storyteller of sort. If you look at the company's trajectory, this is the COVID year, and its vaccine was contributing to the many lives saved, and the company also benefited from that phase. So in a couple of months, it skyrocketed, and its market value rose around around half time, around 50%. And from there on, it has been consolidating with bullish bias since it reached its peak not much back, around 6 months back. And since then, it has been making lower lows and lower highs. I think it is basically consolidating with slightly bearish bias, and it will be better for us to stick to this development, and unless there is significant breakout above the prior swing high, immediate swing high of 76.5, we will do well to trade cautiously and keep our stance on the bearish side. So I don't really feel this is a stock which you should be investing from the longer term perspective. Now we turn to the medium term outlook, and in the medium term outlook, the development was quite bearish for last couple of months, but here on these lower levels, it has indeed found some support. So even though we can't really say that from the medium term, its growth is upside, and it is mainly on the bearish course. But even in this scenario, given its low range and limited volatility, it will be better to even wait it out on this count, and rather than looking for new short selling opportunity, we need to wait it out. We have to see that it doesn't really rise much beyond immediate swing high of around 71 USD per share. And if it falls below that and starts to decline again, we can expect it to drop below the immediate swing low of 61.74 in coming weeks, if not months. So the outlook from the medium term is also more conducive to the bearish trade rather than bullish trades. Now, with this, we are left with the short-term time frame charting, and in it, the formation is continuously of higher highs and higher lows. But now that it is already at the peak, you'll have to trade cautiously and go for new long trade only if the stock of the AstraZeneca continues to consolidate above its immediate swing low, which is there around 67. So for next couple of sessions, next couple of weeks, the price level of around 67 is going to be quite crucial. And as long as stock continues to trade above these immediate swing high with bias on the upside, we can even think about some buy on this trade. But as I said earlier, also the longer term trajectory is bearish, and in course of time you might even get opportunity to go for a short sale trade from the medium term to longer term perspective. But right now we have this formation of higher highs and higher lows in the short term, so we will have to go with the flow and continue our buy on dip strategy, but only if it continues to hold the price area around these 67 level. So for next couple of sessions, the 67 is the price level to watch out for and trade accordingly. So on three different time horizons, the trajectory appears to be different. From the very short term perspective, it is buy on dips trade, but from medium term to longer term, it is more inclined for short selling and eventual decline on the lower side. So, counting on that, I would say that see how things unfold for next couple of days, and given the formation, if you get a good risk reward ratio trade, then go for it and try to exploit the situation to your advantage. So that's all from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Now it's time for me to wrap up the session. Before I go, I would also like to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you have found these content valuable. We have similarly interesting content on our channel on our academy platform with different contributors. So do check it out and let us know how it works out for you. Thank you all for joining in. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.